Do you ever just have days when you're like, no? It's today. Day's almost over. It's 8 o'clock at night. I haven't completed anything on my list of things that I wanted to get done today. My back is killing me. I am exhausted. So we're gonna go plant some things, okay? Okay, come on. When I was buying peppers, I got a green pepper, and then I thought I grabbed another green pepper, but it wasn't a green pepper. Fortunately, it was a jalapeno pepper, and I'm super excited. And there's that little baby jalapeno. Look at how cute he is. Like, yes, thank you. I have tomatoes out there already. We're gonna plant these if we have the time. Let's go out. Eric has been cleaning the back porch because I'm an invalid. What are you doing?
Trying to clean up this mess.
Thank you. To do that. Okay, we'll just use. It's that time of year when like everything's better before and after 8. I didn't show you guys over here the other day when I gave you a tour of the garden, like a small tour. But I have more black hollyhocks over here. Just look at that. So beautiful. Some things over here. This is lemon balm and bee balm here. And then these are echinaceas that I think I planted last year. Look at this guy though. How stunning. So beautiful. These guys back here, we're gonna plant tomatoes here. These guys back here, oh, they stole my heart. Potatoes! So we have so many potatoes. So this whole row is potatoes. This whole row is potatoes. And all of this is potatoes. All of that, except for some weeds. Which actually I should probably go in and pull out now, otherwise those are gonna go to seed. So in Oregon we have this particularly awful weed. Not that any weed is super great, but this one is covered in spines. And then this one back here, grows these lovely little things, which are sharp and pokey and go into your child or your pet and then make them want to die. So that's fun. Minimal tubers were harmed in the weeding of this bed. Let's go plant. Eric got me this cool like thing so I can so I can attach my camera to like fences and stuff, which is awesome, but it's a little cumbersome to put together and take off. Sorry, I just saw some more weeds down here that I can't. Jeez. See the root on that thing? And one more of these. All right, now we can go plant tomatoes. How are you doing? How's your garden doing? How's your year going? Is it good? Is it everything you expected? Is it terrible and you're just kind of needing a break? Let me know. All right, so we are down here. That is strawberry spinach. It's very pretty. Really deep red, like berries. Kind of tastes like a raspberry if raspberries were disgusting and dry. So see, you can watch me plant and look at the hollyhocks all at the same time. It's a wonderful new world. All right, so we're planting tomatoes. This is a tomato. This tomato is kind of sad, but it's fine. It's gonna perk right back up. It already even has little buds. There's little flower buds here. This is the main stalk of the tomato right here, and it grows up like this, okay? Now, off of that main stalk, there will come these little tiny offshoots. Now these will get big and they'll create new stems on the tomato plant. So the reason why that's important to know is because your tomato wants to be big and sprawling. Well, this one wants to lay on the ground like this and have these offshoots come up where more tomatoes will be produced. So if you don't want that to happen, then you need to trellis your tomatoes. And that's what I have these guys for. These cattle panels act as my trellises. I used them last year. It worked really well when I remembered to use them. So let's focus back on these tomatoes. Now, when you're planting tomatoes, if you know how to plant tomatoes, that's great. Maybe this part of the video is not for you. But when you're planting tomatoes, what I'm gonna do is I am gonna take everything off this tomato plant. Everything off to about here. Done. I'm gonna make sure that I get anything that's in, I call these armpits, that's what I've heard other people call them too. We're gonna take off everything in the armpit and leave just a couple of branches on the top. Now when I plant this tomato, I'm gonna plant it all the way up to here because tomatoes are unique and different than other types of plants. A tomato plant will grow roots off of these little tiny hairs. I don't even know if you can see them. There's little tiny hairs and those will turn into roots, which is why a tomato plant can lay like this and survive, because it can lay on the dirt and send out all sorts of roots all along its stem to make sure that it has plenty of nutrients and water. So we're gonna plant our tomato up like this. We're gonna plant it all the way to about here. Then we're just gonna leave it alone. This particular tomato is a lemon boy. It's a hybrid. This is from Bonnie Plant. This is an indeterminate variety of tomatoes. And if you have questions about indeterminate, determinate tomatoes, I made a whole video about it. Go watch that video. It explains a lot about tomatoes. So I'm gonna plant these. I'll let you know what I'm planting. Actually, let's do that right now. So these big tomatoes that are behind me, this is called a Midnight Roma. This was developed here in Oregon where I live. And it is a mix between a Roma tomato and, I forget what it's mixed with, but a black tomato. And so it will have black skin, and you'll know that your dark-skinned tomatoes are ripe when they turn red, or some of them turn yellow. So that's kind of how you know that. All right, so I have Lemon Boy. I have a Celebrity hybrid. That one's a determinate. Now, for determinate tomatoes, you don't want to take off all the leaves and you want to let them grow kind of wild. They set a determined amount of fruit at a determined height, and all the fruit ripens at a determined time. Determinate tomatoes are really great if you love canning. I just have a couple. Celebrity. This is Mr. Stripey. This is an heirloom tomato. I'll have lots of yellow and red striped tomatoes. Oops. This is a Black Prince heirloom tomato, another Black Prince, and another Lemon Boy. So a few different varieties and just two determinate. I'm gonna put the two determinate down at the end so that I can kind of remember to leave them alone. All right. The other thing that I use when I'm planting tomatoes is this. If you don't have one of these, this is definitely not a necessity. And as you can see, mine is well worn and used. This is a post hole digger. And actually where we live, we have a ton of rocks. Eric believes that we live in like an old riverbed, like this whole area used to be a riverbed and now it's not. So there are lots of rocks. So when we're digging any sorts of holes, it means that we really go through these really fast. This is the last one that we used from the last round of holes that we dug. I use this for tomatoes because this hole is just about this pot size. So it digs the perfectly sized hole so that I can just drop these tomato plants right in and it goes a lot faster. If you don't have a post hole digger, not a necessity. A shovel will do just fine. But if you do have the post hole digger, this works really great. Honestly though, a shovel works just fine. All right, let's dig my holes. I'm gonna dig my holes 12 to 18 inches apart, which on these panels is about 2 squares apart. Okay, let's get to it. right, so those two are planted and the rest of them will go just about the same way. However, I'm gonna make Eric come out and dig my holes for me because I am tired. Okay, while Eric is coming out, I'm gonna go ahead and just look over these midnight tomatoes, take off any leaves that seem to be damaged or gross, and make sure that there's nothing in the armpits. Let's go. So, what grows in the armpits of those tomatoes, like this, if you let them get big, they go like this. Now, I'm gonna actually take this, stick it in some water inside, and this will root out, and then I'll plant this, and I'll have one more of these Roma tomatoes, which I think is awesome because I actually wanted a few more of these. Eric just dug up, these aren't tomatoes, are they? Yeah.
Yeah, and all of those are too.
Eric just dug up a whole thing of tomatoes. So I'm actually gonna dig little holes and plant these because I just don't have enough tomatoes this year because of tomato-geddon. So I'm gonna plant whatever these are. They'll be surprise tomatoes. They'll probably be mixed tomatoes. It doesn't really matter. They'll be tomatoes and my tomato gardener soul will be filled. It's like 1,000 tomatoes. Okay, no, this is, well, I have enough tomatoes. I'm gonna need your help planting these. I'm missing a tomato plant. Do you see it?
Watermelon, is it?
No, I think I planted winter squash along. All right, friends, so Eric is gonna finish up weeding and he's gonna plant some tomatoes. I'm gonna go die, but I just wanted to show you what we got done. So we have all the tomatoes planted down there, and then he's gonna transplant this little bunch of tomatoes here. He's gonna put them at the end of this and then down here. Last year over in this corner, this hollyhock was pink and like so beautiful, and this year the hollyhock is black, so I think I just had two different varieties planted there. It's gorgeous. Okay, so one last look because they're so beautiful. It's not really gonna be the last look. Anyway, I'm gonna head in. I hope that you guys are just having a great season. If you're not, I totally get it. I promise it's just a season and we will get through this. Until next time, let me know in the comments what you have found in your garden.